Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of In Between the Sticks. Host here, Austin, with the typical co-host, Kale and Drew. We're feeling pretty good right now. Titans fresh off of a bye week, fresh off of a win before the bye week. Things are trending in the right direction for the Titans. Let's see how they hold up this week against the Colts. But we got a fun little episode for you guys today. We're going to give our predictions for the Titans game and what we're looking forward to on Sunday. And then we're also going to do our pick'em for the week. And I'm going to be honest, boys, my pick'em's going up. I know Kel's going up. Drew might need to start watching a little bit. You know, he's about to be up the creek without a paddle because me and Kel are catching up. So Drew's on the lookout. But fun weekend this past weekend. Got to enjoy my Sunday, right? No stress, right? It was sad to not see the Titans play, but it was kind of a good thing.
Didn't get to enjoy your Saturday, though.
Yeah, no, I did not get to enjoy my Saturday. I'm glad the Titans did not play Sunday because I don't know what I would have done, right? I mean, you watch the Vols lose on Saturday to a game they probably shouldn't have lost, and then to have to turn on and watch the Titans potentially lose too. It'd been a really bad weekend. So thank goodness they did not. A lot of Tennessee fans, their blood pressure definitely helped the Titans not play on Sunday. So, yeah, rough weekend, but it's a new weekend, new us.
And go Doors, by the way.
Shout out the Vanderbilt Commodores. What a game. And let me just start by saying this. We don't have to talk about Vandy, but it wasn't a fluke. That was not a fluke. That was the first time that I feel like Vandy won against a really good team, and I was like, they moved Bama off the line of scrimmage. Like, they were running the ball. They were doing whatever they really wanted on offense and got enough stops to win the game. So shout out Clark Lea. He's a former Notre Dame guy, Notre Dame defensive coordinator, coming back to his alma mater. So that's a really good win for him. I just hope they can kind of continue that momentum. It was a fun game to watch.
I think Alabama was just over. You know, that's one of those games on the schedule. You know,
it is.
Just like Tennessee and Arkansas.
It's a trap game.
Yeah,
bro.
It's a trap game, and you know Alabama all weekend. You know they were putting rat traps around the facility for a trap game. You know, and they still end up getting caught in the trap. But so did the Vols. So you know, I mean, the SEC is just a blunder this year.
it happens.
Who
We all do it.
No one even knows what's going to happen to the SEC because I mean, every team that you expected to be undefeated now has one loss. Texas is the only no-loss team. So, but anyway, we're getting off topic. Yep. We're here to talk about Tennessee Titans football and the NFL. And this weekend, we play the Indianapolis Colts, one of our biggest rivals in Nashville. A lot riding on the line here, right? AFC South is kind of up. Well, not really up for grabs. The Texans still look really good. But that second place spot is wide open.
Hey, you can find a way to get back in the race here this weekend and to build on some momentum from winning the last game. Look, I don't care how we won. We had to run the ball a lot. Mason Rudolph threw it like 4 times in the second half. Everybody calling for him to take over Will's spot is kind of crazy in my opinion. Like, put that against any good defense. I mean, guys, we threw the ball 4 times in the second half against a banged up Miami when we already had the lead.
And only had 1 completion.
So, like, yes, and people keep going, well, what about that throw before halftime? Like, one throw? If we're going to talk about one throw, then, you know, let's be fair here, okay? So, yes, Will made a bad pick in the first half, but we've seen a bunch of that from a bunch of quarterbacks, including Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers this past weekend. So,
on the same kind of plays, too.
The same exact kind of play. It's not easy to play quarterback in this league, and Will Levis has started, 14 games now? Yep. Probably you can't even really count that because he threw it 4 times, I think, in the game before he got hurt. So, which, by the way, that was the first down, but that's beside the point. I think this is an interesting one, and since we're going to go ahead and pick here, it's in Nashville, which makes me feel better. I think Jeff's got a good chance to play, which makes me feel good because I feel like we played really well even without Jeff. So having him back is just going to be even more crucial for our defense. But you know what? It's kind of crazy to think about, but I think I'm more worried if Flacco ends up playing.
I think he will. I think that's pretty much guaranteed.
I'm not, because we do have a good pass defense, but it honestly, just in terms of like which one, he scares me more than Richardson right now. And that's no disrespect to Richardson. It's just not there right now. And Flacco's experience is really showing itself in these games. Yeah. But I just feel good about this game. What I'd love to see is Levis to just kind of get on track, gain some positive momentum, make smart decisions. Don't do anything. Like, look, we have a good enough team to win games without him trying to play hero ball. Just how many times have we said this? Just go out there and play within the game plan.
Mhm.
It's going to help us get wins. We have a good enough team to do that. You don't have to do so much. So that's kind of where I'm at. I do feel like we win this game. I think it's going to be an exciting weekend for us. I hope so. I hope we can kind of roll that momentum and keep it going.
Look, I got two things to say real quick. I like Joe Flacco. I think Joe Flacco is a great quarterback. He did some great things in Baltimore. Who's he throwing the ball to? Right? Michael Pittman's out, right? L'Jarius Sneed, he's not playing. He's on the IR. He's gone 4 weeks. L'Jarius Sneed is guarding whoever he's guarding. They're
I'm
out
looking
of
at
the
their
game.
injury report right now.
Michael Pittman's on IR.
Yep.
And so that is really – I hate to hear that. I don't like injuries.
So who do they have? They have Josh Downs and Alec Pierce?
Josh Downs did not practice today with a toe injury.
So
interesting.
Alec Pierce and Mo Alley Cox right now. And
which he always kills us for some reason.
He does. Adonai Mitchell, rookie out of Texas, also is looking to be – but, look, I'm not scared of that, right? I mean, we had a great secondary, folks. And we're great at stopping the run too. They got Jonathan Taylor. He's questionable if he plays. Even if
he
does
not practice today with an ankle.
Exactly. Even if he does play, I don't think he does that much. I think our defensive
What do you mean?
Is that good.
No, he's better than Derrick Henry.
Yeah, he's not. He's not.
Yeah, can we set the record straight real quick? Because that is, I don't have a word for it. That's crazy. People said he's better than Derrick Henry. When was the only time that people said that? When Derrick was hurt and literally couldn't play, and it still took Jonathan Taylor 3 weeks of Derrick not playing to catch up to his yards.
Yeah.
We got to put that one to bed, buddy. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. But the one thing I will say is when it comes to Will Levis, interceptions happen, right? This is a league right now where quarterbacks are struggling. Yep. You got the best quarterback in the league, Pat Mahomes, probably the greatest quarterback of this decade and for maybe the next decade, who is leading the league in interceptions, but yet his team is 5-0. He's got a great team.
Tied for the lead with Will and and it's Will and Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, he's tied for first in the league with interceptions. But here's the difference between Patrick Mahomes and Will Levis. And the one thing is the clutch gene, right? Not all of the interceptions are on Pat Mahomes. I'll give him that. But here's the one thing. He doesn't make boneheaded, dumb decisions. But
that's going to lose you the game.
He never loses his team the game, but he always finds a way to win. He finds ways to win without even scoring touchdowns, himself. I mean, he threw for 330 passing yards this past weekend, and they won. He didn't throw a touchdown. He was actually 330 yards and an interception. He didn't do too much.
Should have been caught, but yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is he's not doing too much. He's taking what the defense gives him. It's a tough league to play in nowadays. Levis just has to go out there. Don't be afraid to take the check down. Don't be afraid to hit the running back out the backfield. Take what the defense is giving you. Not every play has to be a home run ball. Not every play has to be a 15-yard shot down the field, 20-plus yard down the field. Take what the defense gives you and just keep moving the chain. And that's all you have to do.
Yeah, for me, looking into this, I mean, it's kind of like how, some certain high school offenses in basketball and even the Warriors for the past couple of years, the saying that goes around with them, you live by the three, you die by the three. And I feel like it's the same thing with Will Levis. You live by him throwing the ball over the field like he did in his debut against the Falcons, or you die by it like we've seen, this year. I've seen some other shows that I watch that are Titans related, saying that they think we need to almost kind of go back into a old Titans mindset of playing football, of running the ball a whole lot more than we are passing, just to help limit down on those turnovers. But also with Will's injury, I think it's also a blessing in disguise, because I think he finally got the time to sit and watch somebody else control the offense. Granted, like you said earlier, didn't do a lot with the offense, but when they panned on the sideline of Will, because obviously he was injured, we didn't know what was going on. He went to the tent. He has his helmet on. Every single play, he's flipping open his, play sheet on his wrist, looking at it, walking through everything. And people got to remember, Patrick Mahomes didn't start his rookie year.
He got a whole season to learn under Andy Reid.
I mean, and there's been multiple others, Aaron Rodgers to name just a few, right? But we're just in an age where
Tom Brady,
and
hello,
I mean, these quarterbacks now, we're in an age where you got to come in and you got to produce, because it is the most competitive NFL that there's been in a while. So I don't know. And like Caleb Williams, for instance, started off the year, sucked. But these past couple games, he's starting to get it going. He's starting to learn. Jane Daniels is the exception. Dude's coming out, offensive rookie of the year so far.
And that's not to say that he's not going to struggle any this year. Like, he's just playing really well right now. He's making good decisions. He's going to have a game where it's not going very well. It's going to happen.
We're going to see this weekend. You're going to see this weekend.
Yeah, that's a
what
big
Jaden
game.
Daniels is made of. Because, look, I'm not going to say anything about him having an easy schedule because there is no easy win in the NFL. Every fan knows that. But when you look at his schedule, he's had a very favorable schedule so far this year, right? The games they've won, they beat the Giants. Whoop-de-doo. They went on the road and beat the Bengals. The Bengals are 1-4. Congrats. You then beat the Cardinals. They're not good either. And then you mess around and you beat the Browns too. That's not a good team either. This is the first real team, and the only good team they played this season so far was the Bucs, and they got smoked by 17 points. So you're going to see this weekend they go to Baltimore and play the Baltimore Ravens, and that's going to tell you what's going to really happen, right? And they're playing a real team. We'll see how it goes. But what I want to see this weekend is I want to go back to the summer, right? I want to see what we saw from Will Levis all summer long, right? And it was all the practice clips, right? He was not afraid to hit the checkdowns. He was hitting the out routes. He was accurate, right? He was going through his reads. I feel like what we've seen so far is a lot of just staring down receivers. Like go through your progression. If your offensive line's not going to give you time, then that's on them, right? You have to go into each play with the mindset that they're going to give you time. You can't go into it with the mindset that, oh my goodness, I have to just stare this guy down and throw it.
Because he has the Tannehill syndrome, dude.
He does. He's got the Tannehill syndrome right now because the offensive line did not play good the first couple of weeks. But, like, you can't have that, right? Here's something I'll tell you. My wildest dream right now. Here we go. This Sunday, Will Levis is having a coming out party. And here's why. The Colts do not have a good defense. They've been giving up a lot of points. They've been giving up a lot of yards all year long. We're coming off a bye week, which means that we've had an extra week of preparation and to watch film. I think Will Levis can come out here and easily have a 300-yard game. And I truly mean that. And that's not even me saying that as a Tennessee Titans fan. That's just me saying you got a week of an extra week of preparation. You're coming off, like you said, Kel, he sat on the sideline and watched our team win. That's got to give some sort of motivation in the heart. He's a competitor. He wants to win. He wants to be on the field. So he's got to go prove why he's got to be on the field, right? So, like, he's going to play with something extra this weekend. I'm just feeling it. And if he doesn't, Titans fans are going to be really angry. So
yeah, I think it's a matter of translating what he knows, what he's seen, and what he's practiced to the field. We all played sports growing up. You cannot do what you want to do, and that being win, without taking what you do in practice and translating it to what you do in the games. Practice does not matter if you can't do it on the playing field. Because right now it feels like he's playing two different games. We hear a lot of good things about what he's doing in practice, about his work ethic, about his film study. But you can't just kind of forget that and go boneheaded as soon as you get on the field. It's got to start translating. And he's still young. That's why I still think we have to hold on to that hope. Like, it can and hopefully will happen. It's very possible. So that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know if you wanted to add anything else, Drew. I think kind of talking about Daniels would have been a pretty good segue, but if you had anything else to add for this weekend.
Yeah. Looking at it defensively, obviously we sat Jeffrey Simmons last week. Mm-hmm. He hinted at his injury being sort of a UCL, injury, whether
he confirmed it was a full tear today.
Was it a full tear?
Mm-hmm.
No surgery. Okay. No surgery though.
Well, that's also just because he's not throwing or nothing like that. So I don't really. Besides the point, T Sweat showed up last week, did his job
absolutely
by himself, and I think obviously having Jeff back in will only benefit him. And let's not sugarcoat it. Jeff statistically hasn't played at all this year. I mean, he's doing dirty work. He's getting double teams out of the way so guys can have one-on-ones. But it's like you can still make some plays. Like I feel like he's been kind of non-existent, other than getting the stupid penalties and allowing the other team to score. Other than that, I think having him, Snead obviously still being healthy. I know he didn't practice today, but that's just his little veteran rest that we give him. D-Hop, same way. He didn't practice today. He had veteran rest. And I think that's a big thing too but the Dolphins game. and especially when Will was in, we were throwing to D Hop a little bit more, and even the week before that, throwing to D Hop in that Jets game a little bit more.
Which I
And
love that. Yeah,
I
but you got to
think,
get Ridley going too.
well, yes, but I think you come into the season thinking about it. D Hop is everybody thought that Tyler Boyd was going to be Will Levis's safety valve. We've said it. We thought he was going to be a safety valve, always there, always open. But coming into the season, it's been D Hop. He's the most one that he has the chemistry with. They played all together last year. And it just shows whenever they target him, he's in space, he makes the catches, they're on time. And Callahan said, I need to get him the ball more. And I think you do. And with Austin's point with the offensive line, watch these college teams. What are they doing when your offensive line isn't the greatest? You don't have a lot of time to throw the ball. They're throwing these quick, slants, quick screens, quick, I don't know what to call them. I mean, tight end screens, tight end slips, whatever. But they're getting the ball out quick and allowing their receivers and tight ends and everybody to go block and make plays.
For
And I
sure,
feel like,
because we're going to get pressure.
yeah. And so I feel like we're just right now we're having an offense built like a scheme of an offense built around having a good offensive line, and we're just not adapting right now.
Mm.
And that's what's forcing these hurry throws from Will and these interceptions. But to kick off the predictions, 'cause I know we've kind of rambled here. This game to me scares me because if Anthony Richardson was healthy, I think we would have a better chance overall of sitting there saying we're going to win the game. Because when you look at the Colts offense, when he is in at quarterback compared to when Joe Flacco is in at quarterback, obviously completely different styles of quarterback, but the offense is just more explosive with Joe Flacco. I mean, he's a veteran. He's kind of older, but he can still throw all the throws in the book. I almost picked him up in fantasy last week because I've seen a trend with Joe Flacco. He loves throwing that ball to Josh Downs. That is his number one dude. And so with Pittman not playing, hate to see people injured, but for the Titans defensively, huge W for us. It takes the pressure off of us having to sit there and put Snead on him. Now we put Snead on Josh Downs, and then the water just keeps trickling down, however that falls. But I think we still pull it out. I think it's going to be close. I'm hoping the roller's right where it's a Will Levis coming out party. I think that would be beneficial for not only us, but the national media because – it's bad when everybody is just waiting for the next Will Levis meme to come out, right? So we need to start, trying to revert that. And I think him having stable, consistent, good games. I mean, just have one game where you're not turning the ball over, just one. And it's building blocks. You're not going to get there overnight. So I'm going to take us, but it's going to be very, very close.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, and I think for me too, Richardson, it's one thing for him. It's like he can make explosive plays, but I feel like you say, I agree. I think I feel better if it was him because I feel like he's going to give you one, two, maybe even up to a handful of opportunities to wreak havoc and give you a turnover. I mean, and I think that's something that like Austin said about Will Levis. I think our defense could potentially have a little bit of a coming out as far as we just haven't been able to garner the turnovers yet that we've wanted. We've played really good defense, but we just hadn't been able to get the ball back. And I think hopefully we see a couple of those turnovers this week. So yeah, I'm going Titans. I think it's going to be fairly close. I mean, these division games, it doesn't matter who's better a lot of times. It's kind of just who comes out and wants it more. So I'm going with us though.
I mean, when it comes to my pick here, I understand Joe Flacco. He's a veteran. I think he's the better quarterback of the two playing between him and Levis. Obviously, that experience means a lot. But I just feel really confident in our secondary to shut down basically anyone they're going to throw at us. So yeah, I'm gonna pick the Titans. I think that the Colts defense hasn't been good, and I think that Will Levis needs this game, and he knows he needs this game, and everyone around him knows he needs this game. And so it's kind of now or never, like we're about to start off, we're about to kick off a very hard,
rough
next couple games. And like, this is the perfect way to start off on a hot note. And I think the whole team knows that. And so I think we're going to come out with a little bit more fire in this game. So
one thing I forgot to mention as well before we move on to another game. I'm interested to see how our defense plays against this Colts team because in the past when we've played the Colts, yes, I'm talking about in the past when they had T.Y. Hilton would destroy us, right? And then we've had a couple years without him. But like, what has been the number one thing that's destroyed us when we play the Colts for the past couple of years? Tight ends. they go off every single time. So I'm waiting to see, I want to see this new regime under Denard Wilson. Other than I can't really think of any tight end that has really gone, crazy against us so far this year. But historically against the Colts, it's been a problem. And
But
so
seriously though, take them out of the game, make them throw it at Snead, and make them run at Jeff and Sweat. Seriously, take the tight ends
and
out of the game.
I've seen a lot of people going off about Snead's PFF grade, right?
You
But
can't always believe PFF.
well, here's the thing: PFF for corners, their percentage only counts when they are actually targeted.
Mhm.
And he's barely getting targeted. But when he does get targeted, he's let up a couple catches, so his grade's a little low. But they're just not throwing at him because he's boxing them.
He's not open. No one's open. Like, it's just like for offensive linemen too. J.C. Latham was the worst graded offensive lineman on our offensive line in that Dolphins game. He had like a 40 PFF grade. But then you go and watch Locked On Titans, Tyler Rowland say J.C. Latham's the best offensive lineman we have. Right? He's number 4 in the league right now in pressure percentage, like in a good way. Right? He's allowing the 4th least amount of pressure from a left tackle spot, which is amazing. So, like, you can't really go off PFF grade. They whatever rankings they do, whatever they consider to be like what you get for points, it's fraudulent.
And we have Latham versus Latu this weekend too.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun matchup to watch.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's a good test. It's a good test for him. So I don't want to linger too long on our game. I know we got a bunch of other ones to get to, but I guess the first one I had on my list was I guess we'll hit Thursday night. So tomorrow night we got Niners at Seahawks, and we were talking about this a little bit before. Like this is a tough one. I don't know a ton about the Seahawks. I don't know. There's something that's just telling me that Brock Purdy is just gonna come out and kind of throw it around this weekend. So personally, I'm gonna go Niners, but I really feel like it could be a flip of a coin, especially being in Seattle.
Yeah, this is one of the few games this week where it's really hard to kind of make a pick, because neither one of these teams has been too hot the last couple weeks. The Seattle Seahawks started off hot. They started off 3-0, but they've lost 2 games in a row. 49ers just lost to the Cardinals last week, right? I mean, both teams haven't been playing that great, and both teams are injured, right? So it's a tough game to pick, but I think I'm gonna lean the 49ers here as well. I think Seattle defensively is just not great again this year at the moment, and I think they've been struggling the last couple weeks. And the 49ers need this win. They're 2-3. It's kind of like the Bengals. They need this win to stay in playoff contention, and they realize that. So I'm going to pick the 49ers.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a clean sweep here. I'm going to go 49ers as well. I'm looking at their injury report right now for the game. And with the 49ers, let's see, Jake Moody, they lost last week, kicker, with a high ankle sprain. So I think they said he's going to be out for multiple weeks, which for my fantasy team sucks because they got to get a new one. But also questionable for the 49ers is Charvarius Ward. So that's interesting. And then the Seahawks, excuse me, Byron Murphy is out. He's not playing. And then they got 2 other guys. I'm not even going to try to pronounce their last names that aren't playing as well. But with the 49ers, Kittle was hurt a little bit. Fred Warner got injured, but he's good. So I think
Debo's recovering still.
Yeah. I just think they just out talent the other team in the situation, out talent, out coach.
Yeah,
which is nothing against the Seahawks coach. Former Ravens defensive coordinator last year. He's a great defensive coach. I think he's going to be good. He just needs to. They just got to start building around, that team. I don't even know where you start with them. I don't have paid much attention, but I'm gonna go 49ers.
I like it. We already talked about our game. That was second on my list here. Just going down the ESPN list. Hopefully that ends up being a win for us. The other game here, this is a neutral site because it is the London game. So I'm guessing that's going to be an early morning game as well. Yeah. This is intriguing to me. And I feel like I almost vote the same way every time though, but we got Bears versus Jags. I think with Caleb gaining a little bit of momentum, I like the Bears in this game. And I just feel like their defense, like Jalen Johnson, I feel like they're going to give Trevor fits, to be honest with you. So I like the Bears in this game.
Yeah, I think I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I think The Bears' defense is really good, second best defense in the league at the moment. Caleb Williams seems to be getting a little bit more comfortable as the weeks go by. He's finally getting DJ Moore the ball. Keenan Allen's back. DeAndre Swift kind of having a couple good weeks in a row. They just seem to be they're starting to click a little bit, which we knew it was going to happen at some point. That's why, as Titans fans, we were happy to play Caleb Williams first week of the season because we knew he wouldn't be where he is now. I think he's starting to get it together. So I'm gonna pick the Bears as well.
This is one where I'm gonna be okay taking the L. I've picked the Bears past couple weeks. Colts only lose by 3 to the Jags last week, or they only win, or no, they lost to the Jags, didn't they?
Yeah, the Jags won last week.
Yeah, Jags won.
Yeah, so the Jags beat the Colts by 3. I was watching that game for a little bit. It was a little rough in the first half. The offensive struggled. But I don't know. For some reason, I want to go with the Jags here. I'm going to pick an upset just for one of these games that I'm going to be okay losing, even though I want to pick the Bears, right? Caleb Williams coming out a little bit, getting that connection built up with DJ Moore from last week.
We won't hold it against you for picking Trevor. It's okay.
Yeah, I didn't want to do it. And it's weird right now. ETN, I feel like they don't really know what to do with him.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting to watch. But yeah, I'll go Jags. Screw it.
They are. Yeah, it'll be interesting. And of course, it'll probably be one that most of us are not watching. But we'll see. We'll see the score and maybe some highlights after the game. So the next one is also interesting. We have Texans in New England against the Patriots. Now, this is interesting because Drake May is playing now. He has had a few snaps this year. I think late in games didn't really look very good. It's going to be interesting to see. I think it's hard not to pick Houston in this case. It'd be a prayer, from prayer answered from the Lord if Drake May could come out and sling it around and give the Texans a loss. But I'm not going to be able to pick Patriots here. I'm going to go Texans, even though it's in New England.
Yeah, I'm going to say Texans all day. I think Texans are just overall a better team.
Isn't Nico Collins? He's out though, right?
He is out, but that
sucks. But they're still too talented. Yeah,
their offense is still too good. It doesn't really matter. Texans all day.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be the classic, Esau Harden versus, some little massive public school that can play football and they're going to get waxed.
Stratford.
I think, we broke the streak of rookie quarterbacks winning their first game when we played the Bears week 1. And I think that's obviously going to keep going. Not anything against Drake May. He did great in college, but we obviously don't know what he looks like in the NFL yet. He's had a couple weeks to sit there and learn their offense, so maybe that helps. But, both sides of the ball for the Texans, man, they just annihilate the Patriots. So,
yep.
Yeah, I'm going to go Texans.
Sounds like another clean sweep there. So This is going to lead into one of the more intriguing matchups this weekend. We have the Commanders going to Baltimore to play the Ravens. And this is intriguing because the Commanders are 4-1. Even though they have had a weak schedule, Jaden Daniels is playing his butt off. And I don't think that I'm surprised necessarily. I didn't know. I felt like between Caleb and Jaden Daniels, there could have been one of them that kind of starts off pretty hot, or pick things up pretty quick. I didn't expect this though. I mean, there's already kind of rumblings like if he were able to continue some kind of consistency, he could be a sleeper for the MVP. Like that's how well he's playing right now. So, however, I think there's going to be a little bit of a halt to that this weekend. I think the Ravens are starting to turn things around. I'm still on the Derrick Henry train. Like, there's some fans that are mad that he's in Baltimore, and I get it. We have a rivalry, but I just can't root against him. And I also think the Ravens right now are just kind of clicking. So I'm going to go Baltimore here.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick the Ravens as well. I think Jaden Daniels is a really good player. I think that as he progresses, he'll only get better, obviously. But I just think that this is a real tough on the road in Baltimore. It's a tough atmosphere. It's a tough fan base. It's a tough team. I think Baltimore's defense is going to get after Jaden Daniels. And, I just don't see the Commanders being able to stop Lamar Jackson either. That offense is clicking. Lamar Jackson looks unstoppable at the moment. Mm-hmm. And Derrick Henry's the king for a reason. So, give me the Ravens.
Yeah, I'm also going Ravens. This one was hard for me because this one was one that I was like, okay, this might be the upset of the week, right? But it's going to be the same kind of tale for both defenses. I feel like Lamar last week, obviously, great game. Threw for like 4 touchdowns, I believe it was. Derrick Henry, past couple weeks has been looking like he's getting back in form. Um, but also Jane Daniels, like you said. I mean, in my head, he's easily offensive rookie of the year so far. I don't really know who comes close.
Nobody. Yeah, it's not close.
Nobody at all.
But the tale of two defenses is going to be the exact same. You have to keep these quarterbacks in the pocket for you to have a chance to win.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, we know Lamar is a great runner, but you can just tell, like, Lamar is quick. He can cut. He's agile. But when I see somebody run the way Daniels run, like, when he is fast, bro. I mean, he is so fast.
He's the word I would say is slippery. Like it doesn't look like something's about to happen, and then all of a sudden he's gone. But he also keeps that threat of like, if you bite too hard, he's slinging it downfield. I mean, he's very mature
he's
right
a
now.
cheat code, dude. He's got two X factor. He's got bazooka as an X factor, and whatever the scrambling one is as well.
Yeah, he looks like a beast. So I'm hoping it's a close game.
I have it written on here. I'm gonna say it's either a close game or it's a shootout. It just depends on who comes out and hits somebody else in the mouth first. So.
Yeah. Okay. So did you go Ravens? You went Ravens there, right? Yeah. So the next one is going to be Browns at Eagles. Look, the Eagles have struggled this year, but I don't think the Browns are good. I just don't think they're very good. I don't care how good their defense was in the last couple of years. They're not as good this year. And Deshaun Watson's QB rating is cheeks. I mean, it is horrid. So I'm going to go Eagles here.
Is AJ Brown back this week?
And
I don't
Devontae,
know.
they are.
Okay, they're both back.
Eagles, easy.
Yeah, that's
both full participants in practice.
Yeah, I mean, this is. I mean, I see why. I was wondering because I see the spread at 9.5. That makes more sense. Yeah, this is a blowout. This is a blowout, to be honest.
Yeah, this is I believe Deshaun Watson
Philly,
so far in the last 2 years has more settled cases than touchdowns thrown.
Yeah, he does.
And just had one last week, actually. So, I mean, it's the robbery of a century what he's doing to the Browns. And I know the Browns are sitting there right now saying, "Man, we should have kept Joe Flacco." Like straight up.
No kidding.
Can you imagine that offensive Joe Flacco again? So, yeah, I mean, this is an easy one. Eagles all the way.
Yep. Next one is another good one. We got Cardinals at Packers. At Lambeau, I'm gonna go Packers here. I just think Jordan Love kind of gets back into rhythm here. He had a little bit of a rough outing last week. At the beginning, kind of turned it on toward the end. But yeah, I think Jordan Love gets back into form here. And the Cardinals have a hard time at Lambeau.
I have to disagree with you there, Kel.
Okay.
I think the Cardinals are, it's not November yet. Call of Duty's not out yet. That means Kyler Murray is in full effect. All right.
Kyle Murray just get a Call of Duty partnership.
He just got that Call of Duty partnership. So once November hits and Call of Duty's out, I'm going against the Cardinals every week. But because we're not there yet, and the Packers just haven't offensively, man, they look good against us. We were banged up. They beat us. But I don't know if y'all watched that Rams game last week, but good Lord. The Packers looked terrible.
Yeah, there was some rough points. Yeah.
But the Cardinals' offense, man, this looked pretty good all year. Kyler Murray looks good. Marvin Harrison Jr. looks good. They find a way to score points. I'm going to have an upset here. I think the Cardinals win. I think the Packers haven't been as hot as people thought they were going to be, offensively speaking. Give me the Cardinals.
Yeah, honestly, had no idea. I couldn't remember who in the world I picked for this, 20 minutes ago when I was writing them down. And while you're sitting there saying that, I remember that offense is looking good. James Conner's looking good as well. I was about to go and change my pick to the Cardinals, but I actually picked the Cardinals. So I'm going to have to go the Cardinals as well. Jordan Love looked horrible last week. I mean, they were memeing him already throwing that pick in the end zone. Oh, he threw a Levis or whatever. So
it was terrible.
Maybe you can argue he got rushed back too quick, but that's for another fan base to decide. But I'm gonna go Cardinals. On what you rolling?
I like it. I think it's going to be interesting. That's a big win for the Cardinals if they go into Lambeau and get that. So, uh, yeah. Aside from the Call of Duty stuff, Kyler when he's on his game, he's a tough quarterback to stop. I don't care how tall he is. Like people always make jokes. That dude's hard to get up to stop. So yeah. Next game we got Bucks going to New Orleans, a divisional game. This is tough. But Derek Carr is out. I just don't see a world where the Saints are winning this game without Derek Carr. Now, I am intrigued to see Rattler, because I think they said that he was probably going to start, but
He is starting.
Baker's playing really well. And they've lost a couple of games here recently, but I just like the Bucks in this game.
It's a really hard game to pick. I'm not gonna lie because I wish my ESPN app would load so I can see the injuries to both teams. Because that would
I could
definitely
pull it
help.
up.
Yeah, that would definitely help in my picking. Spencer Rattler, he was okay in college, right? Had like a couple games here and there where he looked good. He's a rookie quarterback, first start. Historically, that's not a good sign. That's not a good thing going on. Saints offense also doesn't have anyone except Alvin Kamara back there that's looked that great. But, huge but, they're playing the Buccaneers, and the Buccaneers don't have a good defense. So,
I know Taysom Hill has like a fractured rib or whatever, so he's probably not playing again.
okay.
Saints have a lot of guys that did not practice today. Shaheed being one of them.
That's tough.
Derek Carr, obviously. Alvin Kamara didn't practice today with a hip/hand injury. They have a guard that didn't practice, and then the Bucks. Graham Barton, their center, he did not practice today with a hamstring, and then one of their safeties, Isian, I guess that's how you say his last name. He did not practice today, and then Trey Palmer, a receiver, did not practice. He's in concussion protocol, so a lot more on the Saints side than the Bucks.
Yeah. I think the Saints defense is really good. I don't think they get a lot going on offense with the rookie quarterback. Give me the Bucks.
The Bucks, yeah, I agree with you. To everybody, if you celebrate, happy Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore fight week. So that will be interesting to see if that happens again. But Mike Evans has been a problem this year, man.
Dude, he's just this year. I mean, I think he's like what 7 or 8 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. I mean, dude's just a monster.
I think he's 9 or 10 straight 1,000-yard seasons in his career. He's
the epitome of consistency. Yeah. Oh
he's
yeah.
gonna be in the Hall of Fame, 100%. He's about 100 touchdowns in his career. Like, bro is good. And you got Chris Godwin. Oof.
Honestly, they haven't really gotten Rachaad White going either. Yeah, they've been using the Bucky Irvin, the backup, a lot more.
Yeah, it's a good 1-2 punch.
Yeah, so once they get going, it's going to be even scarier. And he's on my team as well, so I need him to start getting going. Mike Evans, love you. Keep going off for my team. But yeah, I think it's a Bucks. I mean, Baker Mayfield, Spencer Rattler. I don't really think there's any competition there. Saints do have a good defense, but I just think the Bucks just have a lot more weapons than they can handle. So
the next game is the one that I don't have an answer written for currently. It's the only one. Chargers at Broncos. Drew, do you mind pulling that up too? Because is Justin Herbert playing?
I think he is playing.
Now I will say this: I don't know much about the Broncos. I will say that Bo Nix looked a lot better last week than he did the first few weeks, and they did get a win under their belt. So I'm a fan of Bo Nix. I like him. He has struggled a little bit though, but I really think I'm leaning Broncos. This being in Denver, even if Herbert plays, he doesn't look like himself. Their line is struggling, and his ankle does not look good. So
for the Chargers, it's going to be, right now we're recording this on Wednesday. And most of these players don't get ruled out of playing until Friday if they play on Sunday. So, I mean, on here we have Joe Alt listed with a knee injury that he was a limited participant today in practice.
And he didn't play last week.
Joey Bosa is on with a hip injury where he did not play today at practice. Junior Colson, their rookie linebacker, was a limited participant with a hamstring. The kicker did not practice because Edwards did not practice. Fulton did not practice with a knee, but kind of crazy. You look at Fulton; he's like a top 5 corner of the league right now. By the way, let's see who else. Derwin James did not practice due to personal reasons.
Yeah, I can't lie. I mean, I already made up my mind before this, but I just give me the Broncos. Like even if
I don't
Herbert's
see.
playing,
I don't. Or no, there's Herbert, ankle limited participant.
yeah, I just their line. Look, if you're down Joe Alt, like I know Alt's a rookie, but like they're gonna send the house at Herbert. Like he can't move like he's normally can, and he is struggling right now in the passing game because they don't have guys that are getting. I mean, his best receiver is probably Lad McConkey. And that's no diss to McConkey because he's playing well, but it's just like that's it.
Yeah.
That's what he's got right now. So I don't know. I think the Broncos have a good chance in this game.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick the Broncos. I think their defense has been playing really good. Pat Surtain's the best corner in the league. No shame in saying that. He's the best.
Yeah, he's a dog.
I don't care what people say about Sauce Gardner. I think
don't give me that Sauce Gardner crap, bro.
Sauce Gardner's really good, but he is not Pat Surtain. Talk about George Pickens all you want, penalties, blah 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 blah. Pat Surtain's the best corner in the league. It's not even close. That dude is a straight lockdown. He's been a lockdown since he was at Bama. He's a dog. Yeah, give me the Broncos all day. Bo Nix.
Yeah, I'm glad to see Surtain playing at the level that he's playing right now, especially after getting his contract extension, because a lot of players kind of fall off after getting that contract. So I'm glad to see him still playing. You know, there was rumors in the offseason of us potentially targeting him. So, yeah, that would have been insane.
I'm happy with Snead, though. I like
Snead. For sure. This is where I'm different. I'm going to go Chargers, and I wrote that down, not even looking at their injury report, so I got to stick to it. Yeah, hopefully Chargers don't let me – please.
Yeah, the next one we have Steelers at Raiders. With the Raiders starting Aiden O'Connell. You know what? I think Aiden kind of throws it around this weekend, to be honest with you. I think the Steelers offense is struggling a little bit. I don't know. There's something about this to me that I just feel like this could be one of the upsets of the week. I don't know that it's that much of an upset because it's hard to tell where the Steelers are exactly, but I don't know. I'm going to go Raiders here, even without Devontae.
No shot. Like, let me tell you, give me the Steelers all day. Give me the steel curtain. Give me the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know they're on the road at the Raiders. Devontae Adams is not playing again this week. Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew, whoever, doesn't matter. They're not getting open. The Steelers' defense has been amazing. Really, their only flaw is their offense. And lucky for them, the Raiders don't have a good defense. So, yeah, I think the Steelers win this game.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. This is also the very first week of the season where Russell Wilson has been a full participant in practice. So Mike Tomlin, came out earlier. I think it was yesterday in a press conference I saw at work where he was talking, basically saying the same thing that kind of Callahan's saying about us, where if Justin Fields is healthy and he's ready to go, he's going to go. But the door is open for Wilson to potentially become a starter. So something to look at there. Obviously, like you said, Devontae Adams not playing. I think he's just kind of sitting it out until he gets traded. And I'll say it right now, I think he gets traded this week. I don't think they're going to wait around. I think the Raiders are going to just sit there and lower their asking price because they want a second rounder for him, right? Mm-hmm. And at his stage in his career, with his age and the contract that he has, that second rounder is basically like a first. And I don't think a lot of teams are going to be wanting to give that up. So I think they're going to lower their asking price. Somebody's going to snatch him up. I mean, we just seen. I imagine we'll get to it here in a couple of games, or actually, in a couple of games with the Jets. Potential move, right? Potential move.
See, I don't know about cap space. I think if I were to put my prediction in right now on where he goes, and this might shock you, the Commanders. I really do think that he could potentially end up on the Commanders, right? Commanders got rid of Curtis Samuel. They traded away Jahan Dotson to the Eagles. Right now, it's kind of just Terry McLaurin and then nobody else, right? So the Commanders have a lot of cap space, so they have the money to be able to pay him, and they need a receiver. So why not go get a veteran guy for your rookie quarterback? You're already 4-1 on the season. I feel like you get Devontae Adams, and your offense only gets better. The sky's the limit for this offense if you get Devontae Adams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I had Steelers, so we can go on to the next one.
Oh, man. The next one is interesting. We got the Lions at the Cowboys. I'm just going Lions outright. I just think they're the better team. I don't like hating on Dak, but man, the Cowboys are just struggling. I mean, they did pull out a win in Pittsburgh. For some reason, they come out of the game like just looking like they don't want to play football. And then they're like, "Oh crap, we're losing!" And they have to start slinging it down the field. And Dak throws it 78 times a game. Yeah, I don't know. I just think the Lions are better. They're better coached. They're more disciplined, and they have more weapons to. I mean, right now you have a CD Lamb that seems to have some kind of conflict going on with whether that's the team or the management. I don't know. So I'm gonna go Lions here.
The Cowboys' offense is just not good right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's play calling.
And them forcing it to Zeke, like hoping he's gonna come out and be his rookie self. It's not happening.
Well, also their defense isn't good, and they're very banged up. No Micah Parsons, no Trayvon Diggs. They're just missing some players that we're talking about all pro caliber players here. And with how bad their offense has been, I mean, when you look at this game, the Lions are only a 3-point favorite, and with how bad the Cowboys are playing, that's crazy, right? I mean, you could easily see this being a 2-touchdown game just with how bad the Cowboys have been the last couple of weeks. I mean, I love the Lions, so I'm gonna pick the Lions.
Yeah, I have the Lions as well. I think there's, for some reason, obviously, has been some disconnect between Dak and CeeDee Lamb. Both of them just got paid, so maybe something is, in there with that. Maybe, who knows? Because, I mean, you look at him last year, honestly, and I'm not going to lie, you look at it last year, CeeDee Lamb, for the most part, he finished wide receiver 1 in fantasy, but he really didn't have crazy games till the last half of the year. He was putting up like 35, 40-something points a game the last half of the year. So it seems like that's kind of starting to be a little pattern developing there. I don't know what's causing that. But like you said, we don't have Micah Parsons potentially not playing again, Diggs potentially not playing again. I just looked at it. The Lions only had like 3 guys on their injury report today, and it was a lot of people that just don't even matter. So I think you just go with the Lions. Jared Goff just comes off that performance that he had too. I know Austin hated to watch that. So
them Lions for Dan Campbell, them boys would play without their left foot. Like that's just kind of how it is. They're just tough, Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be. I think it really could be a bloodbath. I mean, maybe not because it's in Dallas, but I just think Lions are just the overall better team right now. Yeah. So then we have Falcons at Panthers, which let me just say this because this is the team that I watch outside of the Titans. I am a Kirk Cousins guy through and through. I love Kirk Cousins. Shout out Kirk because my boy went off last week. I mean, just went wild in a great win. So I don't see the Panthers beating the Falcons here. I think the Falcons offense is really starting to pick up some steam. The only thing that's struggling a little bit is they seem like they're having a hard time getting Bijan Robinson going. They're just kind of forcing it up the middle with him. I think they need to get him in more space, but I still like the Falcons here. I think they're playing some really good football right now.
Yeah, I'm not going to say much on this one. I think the Falcons are the better team.
Yep.
Falcons.
I agree with you. Let's move on.
So then we got Bengals at Giants. This is tough, but I always just have a hard time picking Giants, so I'm going to go Bengals here. I'm going to keep it short and sweet.
Real quick, is Malik Neighbors back?
He is still in concussion protocol, did not practice today.
Because I feel like that's probably going to be a big deciding piece for me if Malik Neighbors plays or not. Because the Bengals defense is horrible. Right?
Yeah, Neighbors had been playing really well before he got his concussion.
Yeah, and so is Daniel Jones. When Malik Neighbors is on the field, like he looks good because he's got his true number 1 out there. But also the Bengals defense is terrible. They're terrible. Joe Burrow is like the number 1 ranked quarterback right now. QBR rating, touchdowns, like dude is lighting it up.
Oh, he's slinging it.
And yeah, they're 1-4 because their defense can't stop anybody. They just put up, in that Ravens game, they put up 38 freaking points and still lost because their defense gave up 41. And then you look last week, they're scoring 30-plus points a game and they can't get a win because they can't stop anybody. If Malik Neighbors is playing, I think my answer is a little different. But even then, man, I still think this is a high-scoring game just because both defenses aren't that great. But I'll go with the Bengals. This is now or never for them. They're 1-4.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
You lose this game, you were almost out of the playoffs at this point. I know it's still early in the season, but like you dropped to 1-5.
Which, dude, I'd be pissed if I was Joe Burrow right now. My guy is slinging it, and they suck.
Shout out Jamar Chase, wide receiver 1 on my fantasy team. Last 2 weeks, it just come out saying, "Give me the rock." But
and T. Higgins went crazy this week.
2025 Titan.
Future Titan, baby.
Anyway, the reason they lost that game was because of their placeholder there on that kick on that field goal. But anyway, I'm gonna go with the Bengals. I just think this is a classic. Big brother beats little brother.
Yep.
Even if I think the weird thing with Neighbors is too, a lot of players are getting these concussions this year and last year. They sit out the week following when they got that concussion, but for the most part, they're back the next week. And I was reading on it today early before we started the episode. Is that he's at the point where he's doing enough to where he can practice on the side field with the trainers, but he hasn't done enough to where he can actually get back into with the team and into actual action. So that's a little weird. So he must have gotten. I don't know if they're just trying to be safe with him, which I hope so. Right, rookie. With concussions and stuff like that,
talent.
you don't want to have like a Tua situation where you're having multiple times of doing this stuff. So if I'm them, I would rather definitely sit him more than you might need to. But yeah, I think that is going to be Bengals, no question.
So that's going to bring us to our final game, Monday Night Football, and this is really intriguing, and I'm probably going to go against the grain here, but we have Bills at Jets, and there's something about your head coach getting fired and teams then respond very well for some reason. And the Bills did show they had some weakness recently, so I'm going to go Jets. I really don't know why, but I'm going Jets.
Yeah, I mean, I can't lie to you. I was kind of thinking the same thing, but my only issue is, have they even said who the interim head coach is?
The
Like,
DC.
Yeah, it's
the
Ulbrich.
DC?
Yeah.
DC? And that still doesn't solve their offensive problems. Their defense is not the issue. I mean,
Yeah.
Robert Saleh was a defensive head coach anyway, so them just promoting their defensive coordinator doesn't really affect anything offensively, which has been terrible.
Well, supposedly Saleh was going to fire Hackett and then promote Todd Downing to calling plays.
Well, yeah, because his offense was so bad. Like, he had to do something because they weren't scoring points. Like,
they have the same amount of points scored through 5 weeks this year as they did last year with Zach Wilson.
That's what I'm saying. It's their defense. I mean, they lost to the Broncos 2 weeks ago, and the score was 3-10. I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like your offense is the problem. I don't think firing Robert Saleh the way they did was the answer. I think they got too many problems. I think you got Aaron Rodgers, who's not as good as people thought he was. I think you got Garrett Wilson, who's a ball hog. He's Stephon Diggs 2.0. He wants 20 targets a game. And then outside of him, you don't really have another threat in the wide receiver unit. Mike Williams is washed. Allen Lazard's washed. You don't have a good tight end. Your offensive line is a bottom 10 offensive line unit in the league. And you just don't have a good offensive coordinator. So, you're losing everywhere on the offense. So, I'm going
to go Jets.
Give me the Bills. Give me the Bills. I think the Bills win this game. I don't think the Jets' defense is going to be able to stop them for 4 quarters. It'll be close in the first half, but the Bills are going to run away with it.
Yeah, I got the Bills also. And I like Kel's point, right? I mean, there's been a couple players that have come out with some tweets that have gotten deleted as soon as they went up when Saleh got fired. So it seems like some of the team wanted it to happen, even though reading the inside reports and everything from Schefter and Rappaport and all these kind of guys saying that, he has been one of only like a handful of coaches in the past 6 years that has to be physically, escorted by security out of the building after getting fired, which I don't think that means he was putting up any, physical, comeback to that. I just think it was the owner saying we need to fix something, and I just think it was a fumble on their part of the way they did it, like Roller said. So who knows? They could come out and have a little honeymoon phase with a new head coach and just put the league on notice. And but if there's 2 ways to look at it, yeah, offense hasn't been the problem, but I'm sorry, if you're promoting Todd Downing to be your OC, yeah, it's a fireable offense.
Apparently the report that I saw was that he was planning on doing that when he got there that morning, and then about 5 minutes later he found out he got fired. It's like,
I don't even think he was going to fire Nathaniel Hackett, because what I was reading was he was just going to relieve the play calling duties to Todd Downing and keep Hackett on there. Because honestly,
Hackett has such a good relationship with Rodgers that doesn't surprise me.
Here we go. I'll say it. I think we got a GM situation going on here in the New York Jets with Aaron Rodgers. 100%. I think he's calling the shots.
100%.
I think he sat there and heard, my buddy ain't going to be calling the plays no more. He said, give me the phone. Hey, owner, ship the head coach out of here. None of us like him. And
He's
look what happened.
probably trying to do whatever he can do to get Devontae too. I'm gonna tell you what, that's gonna be a problem if they end up with Devontae. Like they have a connection that is it's unlike a lot of connections I've seen. So
Yeah, and I think Garrett Wilson has struggled so far this year, and even in the training camp, you saw the videos coming out where they're arguing a lot with each other.
but
and
they're
stuff,
doubling. I don't think it's as much a relationship thing. I think that he's aside from Brees Hall, he's the best player on that team, and he needs to get touches. And like they're gonna play like a too high shell and double him every time. I mean, who are you scared? You're not scared of Mike Williams. Are you freaking kidding me?
No.
Yeah.
You're not scared of Mike Williams right now. So
he's getting that Jamar Chase treatment.
Absolutely.
When T. Higgins wasn't playing, you're double teaming him and just begging somebody else to beat you. Like,
Yeah.
is
Mhm.
Alan Lazard going to beat you? More than likely not. Is 30-plus-year-old Mike Williams, who just came off a torn ACL, going to beat you? Probably not. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you're just taking your chance on, hey, let's take out Garrett Wilson and pray somebody else beats us.
Yep. So I got Bills to round us out there.
Yeah, I mean that pretty much that wraps up all our picks. I think we were actually pretty consistent with a lot of our picks this week, with a couple of episodes thrown in there, and a few disagreements. So it's going to be a good week of football. Really interesting week of football for some teams like the Titans, the Bengals, that really need to kind of get things going in the right direction, or they're going to be a kind of a lost cause for the rest of their season. So that's what we're looking for. I'll be in South Bend this weekend watching Notre Dame, hopefully not blow it against Stanford, and then I'll have to watch the Titans game pretty much in the car on the way home on Sunday. So going to be watching a lot of football from the phone on Sunday, but I'm excited. I think, games like what's the Sunday night football game? Which one was that?
That is Bengals Giants.
Okay, so that's maybe not the greatest game. I'd love to see Joe Burrow just light it up that night, but yeah, a lot of good football coming our way. Look, the biggest thing for me, I just want to see the Titans keep going with the momentum. It wasn't anything major, but you finally got that first win for Callahan. You feel like you're getting your footing just a little bit. Your defense is playing well. You just got to get Will out there and executing a little bit better, and I think we can find ourselves in the win column again, and hopefully, pick up more steam.
Ride the hot hand. That's all I'm going to say. Ride the hot hand, and don't be so predictable, please, Callahan. I know Will Levis is getting a lot of heat with the mistakes he's making on a week-to-week basis. I mean, we keep talking about the memes that are being made, right? He hasn't been playing too great. But ride the hot hand. Don't be so predictable on offense. Give the defenses some different looks. Change up the play calls a little bit. We're going into week 6, so teams got 4 weeks of tape and film on you now. You can't keep running the same plays. You got to switch it up. Give them a different look every week, and just hope for the best. I mean, truth be told, hope for the best.
Yeah, I mean, kind of along the same lines. I've been saying it for the past couple of weeks. Once our offense starts clicking, this team is scary, right? With the defense that we have, the punter that we have, Nick Folk being automatic anytime he's on the field and showing that he can kick it 50 yards, like he's 10 years younger. So I just think, once the offense starts going, we're going to start going. And I predicted the Jags to win against the Bears, but honestly, I really hope they lose, because that only helps us. That only helps keep them down there at the bottom. And with us beating the Colts, like we said earlier in the episode, slots us all the way up to second in the division with this game if we win it. And hopefully the Texans start losing. So 'cause here's the thing, people. We have no idea. We could win out the rest of the
It's
season.
wide open. It's wide. Yeah, but like you say, we could get into second place here this weekend without having even played the Texans once yet.
Mm-hmm.
You could slide into second place while still having the chance to gain 2 full games on them, because we haven't played them yet. It's wide open. It's been another good episode. We're excited to keep doing this. Our schedules have been a little bit wonky, but we're trying to stay as consistent as we can, and hoping for a great weekend for the Titans, and hopefully also not a bad weekend for our picks. And as we have all kind of finally gotten to the point where we're over 500, and hopefully that trend continues. But really, just want to continue seeing some good football. I think the games have started getting a little bit better as we've gone on. Not as many just blowouts and terrible things happening, and teams finally starting to make some adjustments and really trying to get better and hunker down to try to make a playoff push. So that's kind of where we're at. Again, as always, if you have anything you want us to talk about, let us know in the comments below. Send us any kind of messages. Hope you continue to like the videos, share the videos. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed and you are listening. That does help go a long way. And again, we don't do this for the numbers. We would appreciate it, but we just like talking about football, and that's going to be a tighten up for me. And I'll let you guys add anything else you want to.
Yeah, man, just hit that like button and leave us a comment down below. Anything you have on your mind, anything you want us to talk about, we will gladly be willing to talk about anything, truth be told, whether it's college football, NFL. Heck, if you want us to go in here and talk about baseball, I don't care. We'll talk about the Laces. We got no issues at all. Shout out the Mets. But anyway, yeah, that's it. That's all I got. Tighten up.